This is Rachel Ruth Tate, the Astrology Roadshow, and the astrology of December 26th. One major aspect today, and that is Mercury in Sagittarius, opposite to Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. Now, this is the third of 3 Mercury-Jupiter oppositions. It's really significant because currently Mercury is in Jupiter's sign and Jupiter is in Mercury's sign. So it's kind of like taking care of your friend's house while your friend is taking care of your house. You don't know exactly the list of chores or where all the supplies are, and the same for them in your house, but y'all know that each other is responsible for stewarding your things. So Jupiter is going to do its best with the mercurial, the communication, the expression, the exchange, and Mercury is going to do its best with the Jupiterian, which is the learning, the teaching, the purpose-driven activity. So this is the third of 3, like I mentioned. So kind of flip back in your schedule, which Mercury loves to do, to the 18th of November and the 4th of December and see perhaps what was going on then. Of course, this is our third of 3 because Mercury did its retrograde here in Sagittarius. It's still clearing that retrograde shadow, and it's wrapping up this kind of opposition of like mundane goals and long-term expansive projects. So maybe you've been feeling like the minutia is keeping you from moving into the macro, right? The big picture. And maybe your vision has been a little blurry or muddled. Like maybe you know, because all astrologers have been saying so, that 2025 is the year that everything changes, but you don't know what shape or form that change is going to take. So it's hard to invite it in if you're still unclear as to what is for you. But that's the great thing about the Jupiterian hope and faith and optimism and spiritual attainment is that if it's for you, it's going to happen. Now, Jupiter in Gemini has a hard time with that. It's Jupiter in detriment. So Jupiter is fretting, right, about not exactly having it all together or not saying it the right way, not praying it the right way. But don't fear, because there is a lot of beautiful new and next coming up. Now, lunar transit wise, we've just got the moon in Scorpio, that fallen moon, which we had for Christmas. Feels a little weird. I know some of you guys have reported that you had some less than ideal Christmas stuff happen, maybe a delay with dinner, or maybe some sort of a difficult situation or uncomfortable position. That's kind of the moon in Scorpio's thing: transformation, transmutation, and also excretion. So some things could kind of go to shit. Or some cool things could be created, but it might be a painful process. So whatever that was yesterday, cool. Today, that moon in Scorpio is trining Saturn in Pisces. It will square Venus in Aquarius, and it will oppose Uranus retrograde in Taurus very, very late tonight. So what does all that mean? Well, the most of the day is colored by the moon trine Saturn. So moon trine Saturn is doing things that you have to, right? Responsibilities, necessities, but it's also an ease or a grace with that. So maybe your chores are coming more easily today. Maybe it's like, you know, when you get in the mood to do something, like you feel like cleaning out the garage, like you couldn't make yourself do it until, honest to goodness, you're like, you know, I just want that. Kind of the same thing with the habits and patterns I was mentioning in the last couple of videos. It's so hard to stop something until you, honest to God, want to. And that's kind of this transit, is like, hey, it's that time to clean out the closet, or, you know, I really feel like doing that minute, mundane chore, folding everything, or whatever. And then the moon square Venus, likely there is some tension between what you want or what you need and what the perceived goods are for others. So Venus in Aquarius, she's high-minded, she's group-minded, she's dutiful, she's fair. And, you know, sometimes it can be hard to understand what's fair. So if you're a parent, for example, how much of your energy do you deserve, or what's healthy for you to, like, it's the Christmas season, so how much alone time is good, right? And maybe it's less than you need, or maybe it might be more than you want, but when you're doing what's really good for everybody, everybody benefits, right? Everybody might not know it's what's to their good, but hey, That's the moon opposite Uranus retrograde in Taurus, which is ruled by that Venus. Sometimes it can be difficult to change something that's been established for a long time, whether it be a tradition, whether it be a ritual, whether it be a daily habit. But occasionally when we rethink things like, hey, maybe it's best for mom to get that time in for meditation, and maybe we're going to have to introduce mommy's meditation time, because that's just what will be best for everyone, is if mom is in that centered, peaceful, and able space, right? Because she's gotten enough time for herself. Again, that's just an example. So know that if, something in your schedule shakes loose, or if you're finding yourself in a more serious or sober space, maybe some emotional introspection, we're dealing with a lot of watery stuff today, just let it be. And know that the conflicts that we're recognizing here, the Mercury opposite Jupiter stuff, it's definitely things we're meant to see. Because later this coming year, Jupiter will head into Cancer, its sign of exaltation. So a lot more faith, more access to compassion, more access to deep conviction. And this year, or this new year, it is time for us to be challenged, right? To have challenging thoughts, to have our belief systems challenged, to have our faith challenged, so that we feel, like I said, ready, Moon trine Saturn, to stop the thing we don't want to do, or to do the thing we do want to do. It's kind of like when you get to that point where you're like, I can't live like this. I don't want to. I honestly want something new now. So that's kind of today. Happy Thursday.